What's going on, Bottom Line viewers? It's Mitch here of the Bottom Line View, here for your WWE 2017 Money in the Bank review and reactions for June the 18th, 2017. Hope you guys enjoyed WWE Money in the Bank. I'm going to give you a full show review, my thoughts on the show, and basically discuss each match and what I thought about it, what I thought about the performances, the wrestlers, and where I think they're going to head in the future with this show and with what they did on this show. If you guys could smack that like button, that would really help the channel out. Also, if you're new to the Bottom Line View, make sure you subscribe and also hit that bell button. And even if you're a subscriber and you haven't hit that bell button to get the latest updates of the Bottom Line View, I recommend you do so, because there are only going to be more content coming out for the Bottom Line View. So make sure you hit that bell button that alerts you, and also subscribe to the channel. So today, Money in the Bank 2017, we had basically three big matches coming in. I put forth three big matches coming into the show. We had the men's Money in the Bank match, which features, if you guys don't already know, the winner gets to face the WWE champion at some point in time with a cash-in. The women's Money in the Bank match, which features the top women of the SmackDown brand, get a chance at the women's championship on SmackDown. And also we had the WWE championship match between Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal's first ever defense of the WWE championship. So there were some interesting things coming in this show. Like I've said before on SmackDown and Raw reviews, the Money in the Bank show, for me personally, not everyone may feel this way, but for me personally, it sells itself, because I have watched every Money in the Bank match. I watched the WrestleMania that started it all at WrestleMania 21, and I immediately fell in love with that match. WrestleMania 21, 22, I still maybe don't think that there's ever been a better Money in the Bank match than the first couple of ones. But the Money in the Bank show sells itself because it's hard to have a bad Money in the Bank match. Also, the concept of the Money in the Bank is a very good concept. You essentially give an up-and-coming superstar a chance to be world champion, or guaranteeing them the chance to be world champion. So that's a great concept, and I've always fell in love with that concept, similar to the Royal Rumble match, where I love both matches, and both matches always sell themselves to me personally. But as you guys have seen on my reviews, I haven't been a huge fan of the WWE product lately. Quite obviously, it's at all-time low ratings. It's not a great product. The storylines aren't really there. There aren't a lot of stars. So coming into this show, I was kind of trying to stay realistic with my expectation. I wasn't expecting a lot. I had low expectations. I wasn't really expecting an awesome show. And what we really ended up with, just to start off before we get into the analysis of these wrestling matches, I thought that the show was strange. And I don't really know if that's the best term to give it, but there were some good things on the show. There were some weird things on the show, and there were some poor decisions made on the show. So overall, I think the term to describe it as of right now, I might change my mind at the end of the review, but as of right now, I think it was a strange pay-per-view. And I'll explain why as I go through every single one of these matches. But I want to hear what you guys think. What do you guys think? Make sure you put in the live chat your thoughts of Money in the Bank 2017. Did you enjoy the show? What was your favorite match? Did you like who won the matches? Did you like who came away with the Money in the Banks? Please let me know. One thing I will say about this pay-per-view straight off the top is I thought this pay-per-view was probably far too predictable. I predicted the winner of every match, so that's not really a good thing. The only one where the only one that was close was Lana and Naomi, because I wasn't sure if they were going to give Lana the title right away or if they were just going to have Naomi retain. So I picked Naomi, but I was like borderline in the middle. But the rest of them, it was clear cut who was going to win. To be honest with you, I picked Carmella. I picked Baron Corbin, and those are the two people I stuck with in the majority of the night. If you followed my tweets, I tweeted it out before the match happened, so I'm not just lying to your faces here. That's what I picked. All right, let's get to the live chat before we get into the matches. Katana says, solid main event, garbage overall. Katana says, I hope they never do a women's Money in the Bank match ever again. That's the first match we're going to get to. Also says this show really needed to do a dual brand or be a dual branded pay-per-view. That is probably what they should do in the future. I agree with you. I always think that the Money in the Bank should be a dual pay-per-view because you look at the pay-per-view, and again, I compared it to the Royal Rumble earlier. The match is made like the Royal Rumble. If you win this match, you get an automatic chance at the championship. And even more so than the Royal Rumble, the winner is more realistically going to win the match because you can cash in at the end of a match when a guy is already tired and you can win the match. So it should be dual brand. And what it should be is it should be for both titles. And the way it should happen is the winner of the Royal Rumble match gets to decide which title he goes for, the same way that they used to do it with the Royal Rumble. And you could have the three best guys from both brands that aren't champions going at it. So let's just put this out there. We could say maybe on Raw, we could have had Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. And then on the SmackDown side, we could have had Nakamura, AJ Styles, and I don't really know. I don't really know who the third star would be on the show. If Randy Orton was facing Jinder, I'm not really sure, but maybe they would go with Baron Corbin. I'm not sure. But just for example, 3 each on both sides, and then you can pick the best winner, the number one guy that you want to push forward could be in that match and could win that match, similar the way that the guy that wins the Royal Rumble gets a massive push. That's my thought on that. Continuing on, Elite says, boxing, WWE, any day. What's good, boys? I don't... Boxing doesn't really intrigue me nowadays, but neither does WWE. I think boxing's seen better days. I would say that MMA is better than both at this current point in time, but that's just my opinion. Donnell says, am I the only one who thinks this was a good SmackDown show and not pay-per-view worthy? I think we will probably get to the same conclusion once I finish my review, but I'm holding out hope until I rip this show to shreds because I know at certain points I'm going to rip it to shreds. It's kind of interesting because I didn't take notes for the show, so I don't exactly know how I think about this show until I actually start talking about each match and I go over it for a second time in my head. And I'm like, okay, this happened, this happened, and this happened. And then I add it up in an equation in my head, and then I'm like, yeah, this match sucked or this match was good. So until I talk about it, I'm not going to say it's bad or good, but I thought it was strange for a few reasons, and I'll get to those reasons. Katana says this was a house show level show. Omar says it sucked. AJ Styles made some cool spots, but it was not a good show. Elite says Mayweather McGregor. I agree. Mayweather's going to smack around McGregor. WWE Boy says I thought it was all right. Pretty decent show. Arian says RIP Marks. WWE Boy says somewhat better than last year, in my opinion. I don't even remember who won last year. Who won last year? This is a serious question. Who won last year? Sheamus was the year before, right? Last year, who won? It wasn't Bray. Was it Reigns? No. Yeah, answer that question. I really don't remember who won last year. That's how forgettable that show was. WWE Boy says someone better than last year. Arian says Corbin won, Carmella won, Baron won. Donnell says MMA boxing. Agree. Arian agrees with me with the dual pay-per-view. What else we got? Hey, what's going on, Chris Crypto? Omar says Dean Ambrose. Oh, yeah, that's right. Dean Ambrose won. Good, yeah. Dean Ambrose. That guy has fallen off the face of the planet. Omar says AJ Styles and Nakamura couldn't save that shit. AJ hanging at the case was cool. Stare down between AJ and Nakamura was okay. Okay, let's get into this show. Again, I have no notes. It's straight off the noggin. The old noggin here. The old WWE knowledge. So, the opening match, I'm not going to talk about the kickoff match. I did not watch it. I would advise you not to watch it either on any pay-per-view, maybe other than WrestleMania, depending on the match. But we had the Hype Bros defeat the Colognes in the kickoff match. The only thing I want to bring up is that if you didn't remember this, Zack Ryder was back with Mojo. That's all I need to say. Okay, so the opening match was the Money in the Bank ladder match, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I was guessing that they might trend in this direction and go with the women's Money in the Bank match for this one, for the opener, because they always like to open a show hot and end the show hot. That's just WWE style. I think it is an effective way of doing it, and it also gives the crowd a reasonable break if both matches are as good as they're supposed to be. This match wasn't as good as it was supposed to be. I think this match underperformed. I think it was a little short, and I think they could have given it a little bit more time. Actually, once Ellsworth grabbed the briefcase, I thought the match was going to be extended because it felt real brief for a Money in the Bank match. Money in the Bank matches are usually pretty lengthy because of the amount of participants in it and the amount of spots that they put into the show. But this match, I think, underperformed a little bit. But then once you look at the competitors in the match, you know, Tamina isn't going to tear the house down. Charlotte is the only one where I'm really like, she has great matches, like, often. Carmella, I wanted to win, and she did win, and I was very happy about that. I picked her to win, and that was the only one that I was cheering for, to be quite honest with you. I think the reasons why I like the Carmella win, I'll get to the finish just after this, but the reason why I like Carmella winning, first off, I think she has the most potential of any of the women in this match. Charlotte didn't need the briefcase. She's already been established. Becky Lynch didn't need the briefcase. She was already established, and she's a face, and it doesn't suit her character. When picking a Money in the Bank ladder match winner, you need to think about, okay, what can we do with this person storyline-wise? Which wrestler does this fit best character-wise? And I think it fits Carmella best, and it also gives her the biggest boost. Carmella, in my opinion, has the most potential. Like I said, I think she has a great combination. She's great on promos, in my opinion, at least. She's probably in the top 3 in the company right now, and for the women. And she looks good, and I think she has a reasonably good gimmick that she's really good at doing. And also, with that gimmick, the Princess of Staten Island gimmick that they have for her and the Ellsworth thing, I think it worked out. And actually, a lot of people were complaining about the finish of the match, which was Ellsworth going up and grabbing the briefcase. And I understand why. There are 2 primary reasons. First off, it doesn't really seem like Carmella won the match, and it doesn't give her a big boost in that regard. But again, remember, this is a fake wrestling match, so they could book anyone to win this match. They could book your grandma, to win the match. But second, they had a man win the first women's Money in the Bank match, and that's what I saw a lot on Twitter that people were mad about, that a man won. The way I would have done it maybe would have been a little bit different, and I actually talked to Kevol about this. He said that he would have had Ellsworth help Carmella win, but not grab the briefcase. But the reason why I didn't mind this, because it was something different. You know, we've never seen a manager or somebody not in the match. I remember, like, Hornswoggle tried to grab the briefcase, but it never happened. But like Carmella was close to the ladder. She was going to go up the ladder, but Ellsworth goes up the ladder, helps her win, and grabs the briefcase for her. It's not against the rules. It's a no DQ match. So in my opinion, it's something that we never saw. It's a little bit shocking, and I think it provides something to the match. You know, it might be kind of annoying or whatever that Carmella didn't win it herself. But I think it gets her heat, to be honest with you, because when you look at the start of what they were trying to do with Ellsworth being her manager, is that Carmella was using Ellsworth to win matches. So what do they do here? Carmella uses Ellsworth to win matches. Now, what I don't like is that they've recently gone away from that. They haven't really brought a lot of attention to Carmella not really liking Ellsworth all that much, but like using him more. And I'd like them to get back to that so that we can understand okay, Carmella is really smart. She actually used Ellsworth to get that Money in the Bank. So that would be really cool if they started to describe that. But remember, that was the origins of this team, was Carmella was using Ellsworth to win. So now she's this close to winning the championship with Ellsworth being her manager, basically. So I do understand what they were trying to do there in that regard. I thought the match underperformed. Charlotte hit a nice move off the top rope to the outside. There wasn't a lot of memorable moments in the match. Whenever I look at a Money in the Bank match or a ladder match in itself, I always look at this type of match in a different terms. You know, it's not a singles one-on-one match. It doesn't really have to tell that epic story between two competitors that I like to see in a one-on-one match. But with the Money in the Bank match, essentially what you're trying to see is the spots and the crazy moves. And it's supposed to be a spot fest. The women's match, I don't think delivered on that too much. And there wasn't a lot of memorable moments. And in Money in the Bank past, you think of the best Money in the Bank matches because of the moments and because of the spots. And I don't really remember much that happened in this match. So I think they picked the right women to win the match. I think they're going in the right direction with this, but the match underperformed. So that's my thoughts on that opening match. I want to hear what you guys think about it. Okay. WWE Boy says there's no point of a kickoff match. Beauty says WWE, WWE, WWE. Angel says find the difference. Chris Crypto says please die. WWE Boy says I honestly wanted Carmella to win. Glad she won. Same as me. Chris Crypto says this match was great in my opinion. Short enough for me to care. Really? That's it's interesting. I actually didn't think that it was very good. So I did think that there was parts of it that was decent, but overall I didn't really love it. Katana said the match was crap. I'm not watching SmackDown if they have a Money in the Bank ladder match. They're going to get a rematch, and she is going to win it again. Watch. Probably because Daniel Bryan actually tweeted out, and Daniel Bryan's returning this Tuesday. So what they're probably going to do is they're going to implement some sort of rematch maybe on SmackDown. I could see that happening. Yeah, that's a good point. What else we got here? Arian says Jeff Hardy was great in these matches in the past. True. Shelton Benjamin was the MVP of every match. Jesus says she is going to win the rematch. The Destroyer says this was the worst pay-per-view ever. Arian says, LOL, Mitch. And Carmella is hot, but Ellsworth is gay. I'm not a huge fan of Ellsworth, but I think the way that they use him is kind of like a comedy act almost. Because it's like, it is ridiculous that this guy is wearing like a pimp outfit, and he's like one of the ugliest people I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah, to me, it can be funny at times, but I don't think it really serves a purpose. What I want to see them do with Carmella is I want to see them have Carmella basically, you know, have that briefcase, achieve the goal of winning the championship, and then ditch Ellsworth. Basically saying, okay, Ellsworth, I had you this time just to win the championship. Now I'm done with you. Shoot. That's what I want to see, and then we can get rid of Ellsworth because we don't need him anymore. Destroyer says, I'm a wrestler, so I know good pay-per-views. Where do you wrestle, bro? Let me know. Arian said, are you the guy who sends Vince Russo the clip to the marks? WWE Boy says Ellsworth should be in more matches as a singles competitor, but he could still be with Carmella. I think it would be interesting if Ellsworth actually fought like one of the women superstars. Like I thought they were going to do something between Becky Lynch and Ellsworth. I think it would be a good way to put one of the women over if they beat Ellsworth. I think that would be pretty cool. Okay. Next match. The New Day defeats SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, via countout. So the Usos retained their championships, of course. This match was better than expected. This match was actually pretty good. The only thing I didn't like about it was the ending. And it's because the match went on really long for a tag team match, and they just had a count out. And to me, I understand why they did it. Don't get me wrong. they want to do another match with this. They want to extend the feud, and they want to get more out of this rivalry, which they don't really have a storyline for it per se, but they want to extend this. And I understand why they did the count out. But can we find a more creative way to get this decision? Can we find a more creative way for the Usos to retain without them beating the New Day? That is something that was seriously overlooked in the Attitude Era and the early 2000s when wrestling was at its peak. They always found a good way to protect their wrestlers when they needed to. They wanted to protect the Usos and they wanted to protect the New Day at the same time. They didn't have the balls to have the New Day win the championships, and they didn't have the balls for the Usos to straight up beat the New Day. So what do? They do a count out. Now, we could have done something a little bit different than that. I don't know. We could have had some sort of disqualification. I don't know. We could have had a number of things happen. We could have had maybe a double victory or one of those classic things. I don't know. Maybe Xavier could have been involved somehow. Maybe making a mistake or something. But the count out is you're watching such a good match. You're getting invested in the match. Previously, a match that I don't really care for. I love the Usos, but previously a match going into it where I was like, I don't really care. You know, if it's good, I might get into it. Once it went like 10 minutes in, I was like, okay, this match is getting really good. You know, I'm getting into it. There's a lot of false finishes. There's a lot of count outs. There's a lot of crazy moves going on. It's a good back and forth. Big E's hitting some nice moves. Usos. There's a couple points in the match where I thought the Usos were done for. The New Day was done for. So I was like, wow, these false finishes are really getting me. There was one in particular where the ref looked like he came right down for the 3 count. Like, I think he hit his hand on the mat, but they counted it. They said it was a 2 count and a kick out. So that was like the best false finish of the match, which was like pretty shocking, at least to me, because when I'm thinking about these matches, I'm also thinking about the length of the match. So at that point in time, I'm like, okay, this match is going to end pretty soon, right? So they hit that move, and then they hit the 2 count, and I was like, okay. And then but by the end of the match, when it's a count out, you're like, oh, it's a count out? Like, that match was forever, and I was invested in it. I wanted to see a winner, and I didn't get to see a winner. It's a count out. What I hope they don't do is I hope they don't have a rematch on SmackDown. Like, honestly, that kind of like kills it for me. I want to see them just build towards something more, build this up. I don't just want to see a rematch straight up on SmackDown again. They do that far too much when they have this sort of finish, and it just doesn't really work for me. So that's my opinion on the match. I thought it was good, but I didn't like the finish. I thought it was just anticlimactic, and it just killed the mood. Okay. Let's get to the chat, and then we're going to get to something big on the show that I need to rant about. Chris Crypto says most indie stuff is booty. Destroyer said the tag match was horrible. I don't really understand where you got the horrible from. I'd be interested to hear why you thought it was horrible. Donnell says Carmella should team back with the heel Cass and kick the crap out of Ellsworth. I wouldn't mind that. I think that Carmella should be with Cass maybe at some point in time. I think they're still saving for that. And I think they've blown Enzo and Cass. I mean, it looks like they're turning them now with what they're doing on Raw, but it's just killing. It's just killing it for me. That Enzo and Cass could have been a legitimately well-known, great tag team, and they absolutely destroyed it. WWE Boy said, fuck the New Day. Sorry, but it's just my opinion. Honestly, don't like the New Day much. 2PG, Big E should have been a heel competitor. I like New Day matches for the most part. I haven't seen one in a while that I really enjoyed, but this one I did enjoy. Something about the New Day is the gimmick is kind of like ridiculous at this point. It gets old really fast. Like when they first started and they were beating the crap out of people, and that first like year or so around this show, WrestleMania 32, when they were super over, that I liked the New Day because they were something different. They were characters. They were entertaining. They cut good promos. But now they're just old. You know, they're kind of boring. They don't. The WWE doesn't extend what they already have. They just same thing over and over and over, and they don't get more creative, and they don't expand, and they don't become something bigger. And that's why I don't really love the New Day at this point. They're kind of stale, and I'm kind of past that right now. But I do think that their matches are typically pretty good, especially because Big E is one of the competitors, and I do like Big E. Exactly what Chris Crypto says. He says New Day is old now. What else we got? Oh, Arian's talking about Francesco Castana, I think his name is, Arian, if you're talking about that guy. Arian says Enzo and Cass could have been the next New Age Outlaws. I agree. I always compared Enzo to Road Dogg. I saw a lot of comparisons with that. Destroyer said it was horrible because the end of the match was bad. The rest of it was good. Okay, that is understandable. Okay, so let's get to the part of the show where I need to rant. A lot of people and a lot of marks on the internet will tell you that this was the greatest thing since sliced bread. They will tell you that this was the greatest debut of all time. Maria, how do you even say her last name? I don't even know. But her husband, Mike, took her last name because he's SAWFT. And then they debut with what I will say is a really good wrestling theme. I will let that know. For a couple, this is a amazing entrance theme. It almost sounds like an 80s Journey song, which I absolutely love about it. So I will say, I think they nailed the entrance theme, and I think they nailed the entrance. And I think the chemistry between the two is obviously there. They've worked with each other for a long time. Previously in TNA, if you know their work there a little bit. And of course, Maria used to be in the WWE. She started off as that ditzy interview chick that was like really hot, but she was like really ditzy and stupid. And then she transformed into a different character later on. I always really liked the Maria at the start. When I was younger, I thought she was super hot. Now I'm kind of past that. I don't really see it anymore. But for me, I think that the gimmick can be good. From what I see from it, the couple gimmick, we don't really have that in the WWE right now. I think that could be good. But my problem with this is this, and I say it over and over and over. I made one rant about it. It's called a vignette. And if you don't know what a vignette is, I tweeted out the definition of a vignette. And what I'm going to do for you now is I am going to search up on Google vignette. And I will read to you what a vignette is. So, a vignette, according to Google, is a brief description, account, or episode, a small illustration or portrait photograph that fades its background without a definite border, portraying in a style of vignette, portraying someone in a style of vignette. That is what a vignette is. A vignette is a sketch. A vignette is a video package. A vignette is showing off a character. A vignette is essentially a way to debut a wrestler or a character in a show. And what WWE doesn't do enough anymore is vignettes. And when they do vignettes, they don't do them correctly, in my personal opinion. And this is taken from pure fact. It's not because I wrote a show, because I haven't. It's not because I produced a show, because I haven't. It's not because I've been a wrestler, because I haven't. It's an honest fact. Look back at the older vignettes, whether it's Edge, Goldust, Mr. Perfect, Razor Ramon, to name a few. Those are vignettes. They show off the character in a small sample and they get you interested before the wrestler's there. Val Venus is also a great one. Those are vignettes. And that is a way to introduce people to the character, the viewer, the casual viewer that doesn't know them from TNA, doesn't know their work, maybe wasn't a wrestling fan back in 2004 when Maria was the announcer. So my thing is, where's the vignette? And when they do the vignette, it's all wrestling moves, kicks and flips, and they just do a video package of the guy doing kicks and flips, like the one that they did this last week with Cedric Alexander. They did a flippy and kicky vignette with Cedric Alexander this past week. But what I don't like is they debut them on a WWE show. It's not a pay-per-view because you don't pay pay-per-view money for it. It's a WWE special event. And they debut them on there, where the only people that are watching the show are the people that have the WWE Network, and the only people that have the WWE Network are already fans or are already wrestling fans. They don't, and a lot of them aren't even watching the show a lot of times because maybe they're doing something else. It's Father's Day today. Maybe they're at Father's Day dinner. You have to introduce a character over a series of weeks to build the rapport with the audience, and then you introduce them to a hot start. But what they did here is they just put them out there, and at the beginning I was really confused. I didn't know what was going on. But the only reason I knew who they were was because I know Maria, and I knew that she did this thing in TNA, and I knew her from back in the day. But I still don't know nothing really about the character other than that they're a couple, and they're a ridiculous couple. And they're really over the top, and they're probably heels, but I don't know anything else. Like, I want something, you know what I mean? That is part of the problem with WWE. They don't set a character up. They don't give the talent a platform to stand on. They just go, okay, Maria, you're back. We're going to throw you out there with your boyfriend. So that's what I don't like about it. Okay. Okay. What are we at in the chat here? Chris Crypto says, Arian, you see the Pac movie yet? I do want to comment on that. I haven't seen it yet. I was going to see it, but I haven't seen it yet. Enzo and Cass could have been the next movie. I already read that. What else we got? WWE Boy says, I hate when WWE main roster call new call-ups. Example, Ascension went from being the longest reigning tag team champions to jobbers. Such a shame. In my opinion, the Ascension should have never even been anything in NXT. I don't see anything from those guys, and that's just my personal opinion, that makes them any somewhat a star or anything. Chris Crypto, same, Mitch. Maria was hot when she was a little shit. She's meh now. WWE Boy says, great to see Maria back in WWE. Mike Bennett in WWE. I wonder what they will do with him. I miss the old Maria, though. Well, we will see what happens with the new Maria. I don't like Mike Bennett at all, says Arian, but Maria as a manager will make him stick better. Kurt Hawkins one was horrible. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Chris Crypto says, granted, the WWE are masters at video package, but they lost the art of vignettes. They don't remember to do a vignette. What's going on, Chase? Arian says, yes, I did. The movie sucked. Legend of Eddie says, Randy Orton. What are you talking about, Randy Orton? What's going on, Randy Orton? Okay. So, yeah, that's my rant. They need to do more vignettes. They need to do more vignettes, man. And what was my other? I was going to comment on something else. Oh, my other thing is, why do they have people like Bobby Roode go to NXT, but they don't introduce Bobby Roode on Raw, but they have Mike Bennett go straight to the main roster? I don't understand that. I hope you're kidding with me, WWE boy. I hope you're kidding with me with the WrestleMania chair, bro. I don't have a WrestleMania chair. Only marks are going to pay $100 for a WrestleMania chair like Dilly Vanilli. And then he's going to be trying to get it, on the airplane. And he can't get it on the freaking airplane because it's an oversized item. You better bug Dilly Vanilli about that. We haven't brought that up in a long time, but this human being, this man, tried to buy a WrestleMania chair off of somebody, and then he tried to transfer it back to his home of Texas. He tried to take the chair from Orlando, put it on an airplane, and then bring it to Texas. Are you kidding me, bro? That's a mark. Okay. What's next? We have the SmackDown Women's Championship. Naomi defeats Lana. This was interesting. This was interesting. And this was also strange. Okay, so the match was meh. I thought Lana did look decent in the match. And first off, I got two things to say about Lana character-wise. Okay, Lana, her ring attire is excellent because she looks smoking in it. But her entrance and her entrance music, I don't know if I like her entrance music. Do you guys like her entrance music? It's kind of like, it's kind of boring. I understand it fits the gimmick, but like I feel like you could have found something a little bit better for her. And I think Lana could be a star. And my thoughts on this show is, or my thoughts on this match, sorry, are I thought Lana should rather win, or they should have found a way for Carmella to get involved in the match. I understand that they want Carmella to feud with Naomi a bit with the Money in the Bank and their face and heel dynamic, and Naomi is a face, so they want her to keep the title and they want her to have a lengthy reign. But on the other side of things, Lana is somebody that's been super over as a manager. She has great mic skills. She's hot as hell. And she comes in, and this is basically her first match ever. Let's not count that WrestleMania pre-show match. Basically her first match ever. And wouldn't you want her to win? But yet what happens is not only does she lose, but Naomi makes her tap out. I don't understand that. I just think that kind of derails the whole process of pushing Lana as something special. And I'm not sure if they are going to push something special with Lana, but I wanted them to, because I think she has a lot of talent. And she's clearly worked very hard on her in-ring game when she previously had none. She's basically only been working on it for like a year or maybe 2 years. And it was very good for somebody that's had very limited experience in actual matches. So I was impressed with that. But yeah, I agree with Chase, impressed with Lana. So that's my thoughts on that finish. I'm not sure if Naomi should have won. Personally, I would have had Lana maybe win the match. Naomi's kind of, she's still kind of hot as that champion right now, but she's kind of on the edge where they haven't done enough with her. Like they just have her out there, and she cuts the same promo every week. She goes out there, she does the same match every week, and it's just like, you know, Lana's something different. I want to see Lana as a champion. And you've spent all this time with her. And where the hell is Rusev? Can anyone tell me where Rusev is? His old excuse was that the Nashville Predators were playing, but he doesn't have an excuse anymore. Where is Rusev? Bring back Rusev. WWE Boy says, Dylan is a mark. What a dumbass. Destroyer says that's because they try to find out what they have in Mike Bennett pass. Donnell says Bobby Roode to the main event would be a demotion. I don't know about that. NXT is not very good right now, in my opinion. Chris Crypto says laugh my ass off. WWE Boy says, nah, I'm joking. Dylan's cool. Chase says I was impressed with Lana. She's a cross of Eva Marie and Emelina. I don't even know if Eva Marie ever had really a gimmick. Like, it was just that really hot chick that would never wrestle. That was basically her gimmick. Arian said, oh, now I missed something here. Arian said, Mike Bennett looks like a casual on the street. He doesn't look like a Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, or Roman Reigns. Not many people do. Omar says, incredible performance by Lana. First match in a pay-per-view for a title shot? Yes, you're right. She can be a star. She has it. Yes, I agree. And the thing I've previously said about women like Lana is, why not enter the WWE, as a manager, because what you can do as a manager is you focus on your mic skills. And that's the number one thing that we see with women, especially, and also the entire roster, is it makes you stand out because you're not a women's wrestler. And it seems like everybody nowadays wants to be a women's wrestler. But when you're a manager, you develop those skills. You develop that charisma. You develop that promo ability. So then you learn the wrestling ability. And when you're as good looking as Lana, it doesn't take much to get over, because guys are going to love you because you're hot. You can speak well. And then, you know, you get a little bit of a gimmick as you're developing that manager character, and you get the in-ring skills and work hard. And Lana's obviously somewhat athletic. She used to be a dancer. She has the flexibility to do it, and she showed that off in this match. I thought it was good. A lot of people were kind of saying it was men, you know, whatever. I thought the match itself was like, I don't really care for it. But like, I thought Lana's performance for basically her first match was very good. WWE Boy says, I thought her entrance music is okay. Like I said, lots of them need theme music with lyrics and not just a beat or rock instrumental or other background type music instrumental. Maybe I kind of agree with that, but then again, there was a lot of wrestlers that don't really have lyrics that worked in the past, so it's debatable. Aaron says Triple H is ruining WWE with him catering to an audience they already have. I don't know if it's strictly Triple H, but I agree that I don't think if Triple H, a lot of people want Triple H to become the boss of WWE, and I would way rather Shane McMahon be that, because I don't think a wrestler being the top of the company would be a very good idea, because a wrestler is not a creative mind. He's not a television person, and he doesn't know storylines. A wrestler is great as a, you know, an agent, a guy that can book matches, but he's not great in terms of the overall creative mind, because oftentimes they don't know how to write television. And we see that regularly week to week, where it seems like WWE is absolutely lost just on the basics of writing a compelling wrestling show. Chase says, I think Lana... Oh my God. I think Lana should have won. Arian says, you know, you're a dorky mark when you look at Lana, and the only thing that comes to your mind is if she can wrestle. The WWE Boy says, I thought Rusev should have been on this pay-per-view. I saw him tweeting, and I was thinking that he was going to come out during the Money in the Bank match, because that would have been awesome. Hunter says, Lana's pussy was showing. Bro, I didn't see that camera angle. Chase says she's definitely got the Emelina gimmick. Close, but she's a dancer, so it's a little bit different. Arian says, I think WWE dropped the ball with the way she debuted. I can't remember who, but they said the same thing, Mitch. Being a manager helps with your charisma. Arian says Stone Cold's theme is like that. Yeah. Who else is like that? Mick Foley's is like that. Undertaker's is like that. Kane's was like that for a long time. Chris Benoit's is at the beginning. I'm just thinking of random people that I can remember. The only, like, Hulk Hogan's is for like a good minute, and then they finally start singing. Oh, no. It depends on what theme. But the NWO theme, it obviously doesn't have lyrics. The Real American one does. Sting's doesn't really have lyrics. Who else? A lot of wrestlers have gotten away with Macho Man. A lot of wrestlers have gotten away with no lyrics. It just depends. Some wrestlers it works, like Triple H, The Rock. Some it doesn't. WWE Boy says, hey, Mitch, if you were in WWE or just a professional wrestler, what would be your character? God, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. But I would definitely love to be a heel. If I was a wrestler, which I'm never going to be, it would definitely be a heel. And it might be like, I think I fit personally, even though I'm Canadian, I think I fit like the what's it called? Like the typical like American like white college kid persona. I think I would be pretty good at that, but I don't know. Like kind of like Shane McMahon and his buddies, like when they came in. I think that would maybe be one of my personas, but I don't know. But I would have to think about that more. But that's just what I came up with off the top of my head. Freddie says Styles versus Nakamura WrestleMania 34. I've heard the rumors for that. I think it would make a lot of sense. And I don't think it would. I think they may want it to be for the title, but I don't think it needs to be for the title. But it could work either way. And I think as long as they, in my opinion, Freddie, as long as they start a new story based on what happens in WWE and not New Japan, I'll be perfectly fine with it and I'll enjoy it. But if they start the rivalry by basically giving us nothing and then relying on their past history for WWE fans to latch onto, then I won't be a fan for it. But if they get some sort of a storyline that is based upon what happened in the WWE, because it's a different television show, it's a different company, and the viewers that don't know New Japan and don't know that past need to know the story. So if they stick to WWE storytelling in that capacity, I will enjoy it because I think they put on a great match. The Hardy Boys, says Chase. Good one. Sable, says Chase. Kurt Angle has... yeah, I guess he doesn't have lyrics. I always think of the "You Suck" as lyrics. But, yeah, he doesn't. Stone Cold doesn't have lyrics. Stone Cold had lyrics in the version that was done by Disturbed, I think, in like 01, but I don't think he has lyrics. He doesn't have lyrics. Can you guys back me up on that one? Bret Hart, yeah. Destroyer says you're on Team Heel, yeah. Chris Crypto says, here's a question. If the outcome of a match is poor, but the in-ring action is good, is the match altogether stupid or not? It depends if you can separate it. It depends what type of fan you are. In my opinion, I'm not booking a show, so I won't get mad on who wins a fake wrestling match. Like if whoever wins a fake wrestling match, I won't care, but I want to see what they do with it. I have my opinion on who I think should win the match, and I'll stick by that opinion, and I'll cheer for that wrestler, but I won't get upset if the other wrestler wins. On the other side of things, like the way that the tag team match ended, it can ruin a match for people. It can, and I understand that. But if the match is good inside of it, but the finish is bad, you got to think about a movie, right? Like a movie, if the whole movie is good, except like a superhero movie is a really good case of this. If a superhero movie is really good, but the last scene is terrible, then people are going to downgrade the movie maybe 1 or 2 notches, right? If that movie has an epic finish and an epic beginning, but has a mediocre middle, then people will think it's probably better than the movie that was really good for like 2 hours, but the end sucked and it just ruined the entire movie. So it depends. Rock has a promo line only. Yeah, it's like Rock says, it depends what theme. It depends what theme. But yeah, Rock says, and then he says like Rudy Poo Candy asks some of them. He says like, you smell what the Rock is cooking. He says that. It depends. Okay. And not the last match. The next match, we actually have 3 more matches. Holy shit, this is long. WWE Champion Jinder Mahal defeats Randy Orton. I liked this match. Hate on me all you want, Hate on me all you want. The only thing I didn't like about this match was how quickly Jinder Mahal won the match after what happened with Randy Orton, but I understand why they did it. And this is why they did it. So if you're as surprised as me as how Jinder Mahal won the match due to another distraction, the reason why he won the match like that is think about Randy Orton. And this is my opinion on why they did this. And I don't know if this is fact, but this is my opinion on why they did this. If you think about how Randy Orton wins a match, RKO out of nowhere, basically what happened is Jinder Mahal beat Randy Orton at his own game. In his own town. I think that was good storytelling. I think that was a good way to end the match. Now, when it happened, I had to think about it for a while to be like, oh, that was like weird. That like that was a strange finish. But when you think about it, it makes perfect sense. But the middle of the match, in the beginning, I thought was good. I thought they told a good story. The refreshing part of this match is there was no flips. There was no dives to the second rope. There was some sweet RKOs by Orton. There was some awesome Orton had a great match. This was one of Orton's best performances in a match I've seen in a while. I loved the way that they used the legends, even though I think they should have been used better in the feud leading up to this match. I thought they did a really good job of using the legends. They did the figure 4 move. They showed Ric Flair. They got after Bob Orton. The Singh brothers attacked Bob Orton. I thought that was good. And then Orton went nuts and threw them everywhere, and they used that as a distraction. I thought the majority of the match was good. I thought Mahal was good in the match. But Randy Orton definitely carried the match. Definitely the veteran, definitely called the shots, and definitely had some of the better moments. But I thought the match was solid. Very, very decent main event. And it almost felt refreshing because of the style of match that it was. It felt like a main event match. There was no flippy dippy. There was no second rope. There was no constant head kicks. There was no constant forearms. They did a classic WWE Championship style of match, and I enjoyed that. So that's my thoughts on that match. Destroyer says the RKO is a modified version of the Diamond Cutter. Yeah, it is, but I think the RKO actually is cooler. That's my opinion on it. Superman says there's 2 versions of Stone Cold Song, one with lyrics, one without, and he used both at one time or another. I watched all his matches. He was my favorite. Back in the late 90s, I don't remember him having lyrics in his songs, but I don't know. I do remember the one in 2001, like I said, with the Disturbed version, which did have lyrics. Chase says Charlotte doesn't have lyrics. Yeah, she doesn't have lyrics. Ric Flair has woo, if that counts. WWE Boy says, I agree, Mitch. Jinder versus Orton was a great match. Not too bad. It was actually pretty good. Jinder is a good heel, and Orton had a decently good performance in this match. Jinder is a pretty good heel. Not too bad. I think the thing about this match also is, like, when is the last time we've seen 2 legitimate-looking heavyweights go at it in a main event WWE Championship match? You could say at WrestleMania we had Goldberg-Lesnar for the Universal title, but that was a Universal title. You could maybe say, Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar are both definitely heavyweights, but is Samoa Joe like a legitimately gonna even like phase Lesnar? Probably not. In this main event, we had 2 guys that were probably around the same side. They were both shredded. They both look like they could beat the shit out of you. Like, a lot of times we have smaller guys we have one smaller guy versus one bigger guy, and then it often doesn't make for a great match. I don't know, but that's just my opinion. Freddie says, hey, men, do you think that Orton needs to come back to the Legend Killer gimmick? Because the Viper is so boring. The Viper could be good if they do something, but the creative is so bad that they don't even try. The Legend Killer gimmick at this point, I don't know if it would work because Orton is a legend in his own right. So, like, I don't know if that would work anymore. I don't know. Like, you could maybe do it in a different fashion, but I don't think it would work. But that was definitely one of my favorite gimmicks of all time. Chris Crypto says they should do something new, not recycle a gimmick. Chase says people saying Jinder can drop the belt to Cena. I hope not. I hope that Jinder, if he does face Cena, beats him, but we'll see. Next, we have Breeze Dango defeat the Ascension. Now, as you guys know, I'm a fan of Breeze Dango because of what they're doing with their character. They're trying to get themselves over. They're putting a lot of effort in. They're doing their own video packages that the WWE set up for them. They're doing the Fashion Files. They did a Miami Vice version of them, which I thought was very good. They even had a couple jabs and funny lines with Paul Heyman. If you saw the side of the phone, if you know the old Paul Heyman gimmick, Paulie Dangerously, it had on the side of the phone, it said property of Paulie, which I thought was good. I liked the video. I liked the Fashion Files tonight. I thought it was good. I always like the Fashion Files. I think it's very funny. I think it's creative. I think it's entertaining. And it's something on the show to look forward to every single week. But the way that they did this, I didn't enjoy because they basically, I actually really liked the Ascension thing where like you couldn't see them on TV, but you could tell it was the Ascension. And they were like, if you want to know who we are, find out and wrestle us tonight. I actually really like that. That was very superhero-y. Like that's something you would see on like Arrow or something like that on TV. And I liked that part of it. But I think that they should have done this in a series of weeks and dropped clues and then dropped, you know, that video tonight, because I think that would have worked better. But instead, they really had no connection between the Ascension week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. We never really saw the connection. I don't know if that's just me, but I didn't see any carry-on story till this pay-per-view. I just saw, okay, we need to do something with the Breeze Dango, so we're going to put them out there against the Ascension, and the Ascension will be their case for the night. My thing is that you need to build that over the course of the week so that we actually care about the match. When we see the Ascension come out, nobody cares because the Ascension are done with. What they should have maybe done is they should have maybe swerved us. They should have let up with a series of events that looks like it's the Ascension, but then boom, maybe it's somebody else. Maybe it's even, what's it called? Maybe it's the Hype Brothers heel turned. I don't know, because maybe they didn't show Zack Ryder last week and then they have them come out this week and they drop those clues for the series of weeks and they give us that swerve that we thought it was the Ascension, but it wasn't. Maybe they could debut a new team like that. They could have done a majority of things, and I just don't think that they benefited the match the best way. They could have done a lot better in making this an actual match where we wanted to watch it. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel like it was a must-watch match. It was basically a SmackDown or Raw match that, you know, wasn't something that was must-watch TV. But Breeze Dango did not end up winning the match once again. They really do deserve the championships at some point in time. Destroyer says, I could beat Jinder Mahal. Yeah, well, it is a fake wrestling match. So if you're booked to win the match, then you probably could. Unless you're talking about in a real fight, then I probably doubt it. Unless you're like a UFC fighter or like, you know, training to be like a boxer or something like that, then I probably doubt it. Arian says, never, Mitch, never. It's crazy that we see two wrestlers who look the part in wrestling, and it's refreshing for us. 17 years ago, that would have been the opposite with cruiserweight matches. I agree. James is a cheater, says Chase. Destroyer says, Jinder's run is supposed to be 5 months or longer. Arian says, it wouldn't make storyline sense that Orton would have been a legend killer since he's already established. I really like him in 2005, though. That was his best work. I really liked 04 Orton, 03 Orton, 05 Orton. I like Orton in general. 09 Orton, 07 Orton. Those are the ones that stick out to me the most. You don't know who I am, so. Jeremy says Orton versus The Rock would be great. Honestly, they probably should have done that at WrestleMania 20. To be honest with you, they probably should have done The Rock versus Orton instead of The Rock or instead of Evolution versus the Rock and Sock Connection. I think that would have been better. But WWE Boy says, bro, what the fuck was Cesar during this match? Where the fuck was Cesar? I don't know where Cesar was. The Destroyer says, you don't know who I am. Jeremy says, Mitch, what are your thoughts on McGregor versus Mayweather? Maybe I should do a video on that. But my thoughts on that fight is that Mayweather is going to school this man. And basically it's a win-win for McGregor. Like, honestly, this guy is very smart. If he loses, it doesn't matter. He can just say it's not his sport, which it isn't. It's totally different than MMA. He has to learn a different style. He has to learn to fight for points. Because Mayweather is the greatest defensive boxer in history. And it's going to be very difficult to beat him. And you're probably not going to knock him out. And Mayweather is going to probably just dominate. But I don't know if Mayweather is going to knock him out either, because he hasn't knocked a guy out in a very long time. So it's going to be interesting. But I think Mayweather will probably win in a very lopsided decision. But I totally understand why McGregor's doing it. He makes a ton of money. He could potentially retire after this. He's going to get a lot of fame from this, a lot of sponsors, a lot of deals, a lot of opportunities. And then Mayweather, on the other hand, I actually talked to a friend about this earlier today. And it's like, what does he have to lose? I mean, he already broke the record. He could maybe become 50-0. So that would be cool. So I don't know. But, like, Mayweather has to gain what he always has to gain. He's going to make tons of money. He's going to gain more fame. The guy is Money Mayweather. That's how he lives his life. And also, I think what Mayweather is going to do, even though people aren't going to give him credit for it, is he's going to provide a spark to boxing. He's going to provide attention to boxing. And he's going to provide the spotlight that boxing needs right now, because boxing is not dying, but it's not nearly as popular as it used to be thanks to MMA. So I think McGregor and Mayweather is going to provide a lot of eyes on boxing that haven't been on boxing for a long time. So that's my thoughts on that. Chris says, how do you know Dylan, Mitch? That's a random question. Maybe I should do a Q&A. Would you guys like me to do a Q&A at some point? Because I would definitely do one. Destroyer says, you want to fight me? I'll wrestle you. And I was a boxer once. Well, good for you, bro. Well, I've boxed as well for 10 years. So if you want to go, hit me up. Chris says, I don't mean to be a dick, but are you like 12? Arian says McGregor has a character. McGregor is very entertaining. Actually, what I hope McGregor does, and I think he would make a ton of easy cash if he did this boxing match, lose, whatever, make your $150 million. Then he comes and he goes to WWE. And McGregor has that built-in storyline with WWE that he had like last year. I think that would be awesome. Destroyer, what are you even talking about, bro? Get out of here. Dirty Boy says, I bet. Let's fight, bro. Arian says, keep dreaming, Mitch. He should, though, because Arian, think about it. I know he probably won't, but think about this. He's going to come to WWE, and he's going to make $5 million and fight fake wrestling matches. And he's probably only going to need to fight 1 or 2. Think about that. Will Ronda Rousey ever come to WWE? I think she should. Omar says McGregor versus AJ Styles. Oh, my God. I think McGregor versus... That could work because McGregor is small. I would love to see McGregor Reigns, personally. I know a lot of people don't like Reigns, but I think that would be pretty cool. Obviously, they're not going to do McGregor Lesnar, but that would be pretty crazy. McGregor, even that could be a way to get like a guy like Finn Balor over, because they're both the same weight class. So that would be a way to get Finn Balor over, but just that would be great. Chris says, if McGregor comes, I'll cream in my jeans. Again, like Tyson did it, right? I know McGregor's not a huge WWE fan, but he stirred that beef up, and I think it would work. Okay, let's get to this main event match, which is the Money in the Bank Championship, Money in the Bank briefcase match, which is Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. At the beginning of the match, what happens is Baron Corbin takes out Nakamura with a ladder, injures him, so Nakamura is sent backstage. Now it becomes a 5-man match. I thought this match was kind of dull at the beginning. I actually was fading away. I've had a couple of long days. I played in a street hockey tournament this past weekend. I played like 4 games, and I was tired, so I was kind of dozing off at the end of this. But I tuned back in for about the last 10 minutes of the match and the first like 5 minutes. So I don't know how long the match was, like probably like 30 minutes. So I probably caught like 20 on and off. And I thought the match had some really cool spots in the match. I thought, you know, Styles was really good with those spots. Zayn even hit a couple spots, which I'm not a Zayn fan. Something to say about Zayn, dude, this guy really needs to work out. Like, it was noticeable before, but now, like, your job is to be a wrestler. Work out. You're like a skinny fat dude. If you actually want to win a title, work out. Then you'll get a title. Nakamura comes back in the match towards the end. They have that moment with AJ Styles, which I thought was good fan service. But I'm not sure a lot of people understood that moment. They did that thing, which was good. Nakamura had some nice spots in there. Styles hit that awesome, phenomenal forearm, and Nakamura sold it perfectly. Then the end of the match, Baron Corbin knocks them both down off the ladder, which could be, for the person that commented earlier, this could start the match and the rivalry between Nakamura and AJ Styles. Now, it won't happen right away, but this could implement a seed for Styles Nakamura at WrestleMania, because they were there against each other, and because they fought each other and didn't go for the briefcase, they cost each other in the match. Baron Corbin stuck in, and he basically guaranteed himself to be WWE champion. So that was the match. I thought it was good. I don't think it was the greatest Money in the Bank match of all time, but I thought it had some really cool spots, some really awesome moments. And like I said at the top of this review, what I want to see from a Money in the Bank match is a bunch of spots, and I want to see like some people kill themselves, not literally, but like I want to see some people like do some ridiculously insane maneuvers. And I don't want anyone to get hurt, but I want to see I want to see crazy shit, all right? I want to see crazy shit. Is that okay? So we saw some of that, and that was kind of cool. But again, I wasn't overly invested in this match. I thought that Baron Corbin would win. He won. It wasn't awfully shocking, but I think it was the right decision. And it was the right decision because he was the clear guy up and coming that needed the Money in the Bank. He is a heel, so it works. And I think his lone wolf character will provide something to that. So I like the decision. I was, Baron Corbin or Nakamura. That was kind of who it was between. And they kind of protected Nakamura pretty well in this match. So I think overall they executed this very well. I also like the way that they threw Nakamura back in the match, because it provided a late spark to the match that it was kind of missing a little bit. And it gave it that extra oomph to, get past that ending to the match. So I thought it was good, and I enjoyed it overall. Was it the match of the night? I'm not really sure. But, yeah. What else we got? Okay. So, Destroyer says, I'm happy Corbin won. He deserves it. Yeah, I agree. Aaron says Corbin's character fits the Money in the Bank. Corbin is such a god, says Chris. Jeremy says, remember Royal Rumble 2014 when Lesnar just kept hitting Big Show with a chair? Was that Royal Rumble? Yeah, that was pretty cool. Waterboy says, you suck. Thanks, man. Destroyer says skinny fat dude equals Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens is just fat. I don't think he's skinny fat. Nakamura, skinny fat, at least he's not like Sami Zayn has like a gut going on. I don't really understand it. Chase says Tamina kept getting hit by ladders. LOL. Omar says AJ and Nakamura should have a Mania match. If they don't give them the main event, they'll simply steal the show. I don't think they should be the main event because I don't think that would sell very well. I think the main event will be Reigns and Lesnar, but I think AJ and Nakamura would be, I think it will be a match on the card, and I think it would be an excellent like candidate for match of the show and like be probably somewhere in the middle. Because again, you have to think WrestleMania is like 5 hours. So they could stick it in the middle and before the main event and people would be, you know, past it by then. Arian says, if you watch VR shoots and VR shoots, are you talking about Vince Russo? And one thing he always praises is JR is as talent relation with wrestlers who are pros, who look like wrestlers, who are good actors, who know their character and belong on TV. Well, the thing I don't get with some of the guys that they bring in nowadays is a lot of the guys they bring in nowadays don't have any acting chops. Like they're terrible actors. They can't speak very well and they don't look good. And if you look across, like, if you just look across TV shows, like think about your most your favorite TV show that isn't WWE and look at the people on that show. I mean, honestly, they're probably pretty good looking and they probably can speak very well because actors are both those things, most likely, unless they're playing some sort of character where it's involved where they act a certain way or they look a certain way. So for WWE, it should be the same thing because, again, it is a TV show. It all started with making you believe that this match is real. And if you have skinny fat dudes like Zayn, you don't really believe that the match is real, that Zayn would beat a guy like who's in the match? Who's in this match that actually like again, Sami Zayn could have, or Baron Corbin. Okay, like Sami Zayn in a real fight would get shit kicked by Baron Corbin. WWE Boy says the main event Money in the Bank match was pretty good, but I thought they should have been more to it, like people going through tables and ladders, at least going through the barricade. I thought there was enough spots for the match. What was your favorite WWE match ever? I think we're gonna have a Q&A. There's a lot of random questions in this chat, so I think we're just going to do a Q&A at some point. Destroyer says Owens got broken in half. Thanks, JR. Sorry this was random, but it just came to my mind. Shawn versus Taker for me. Yeah, that's a very good match. Which one, 25 or 26? Impractical Jokers. Underrated show, says Chris Crypto. Jeremy says, anyone watch the show Shark Tank? I watched it and like I had like a class in school where we would always watch that show. I don't watch it like regularly, but we always had that in class, and it's a good show. It's entertaining. Alan says, "What about Samoa Joe versus Brock? Who wins? It should easily be Brock. I don't see how Samoa Joe could possibly win the match, and I don't see how Samoa Joe would be the one to get the big push after Brock just beat Goldberg, who literally killed everybody." Arian said Baron Corbin would make Sami Zayn look like how Mickey Gall made CM Punk look in his first UFC. Man, that was so bad. I remember watching that and I was like, dude, CM Punk, like get a punch or like stand up or like do something. Arian, Brock would get the Goldberg treatment. Jeremy says, when will AJ Styles fight Lesnar? I don't know. Lesnar's on Raw, so I don't know. Next year, maybe, if they even do it. It's hard to sell that fight, even though it would probably be excellent because Punk and Lesnar was really good, so I would expect Styles and Lesnar to be really good. But the size difference is hard to sell. But you could do it. I mean, you could do it. Lesnar's done it before with smaller guys, and it's worked. And I would love to see that match. I just don't know when they would do it. Maybe they could do it at Royal Rumble this year, but I don't see that happening. Maybe next year because they're not even on the same brand. Freddie says, do you think that there's a way to see Johnny Mundo soon in WWE? I hope, but I don't think so. I think he's comfortable with where he's at. I don't know. I hope so, but I don't think so. So those are my thoughts on Money in the Bank 2017. I hope you guys did enjoy this show. If you did, and if you enjoyed the review, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe for more WWE. We do basically a review of every show, Raw, SmackDown. We don't do NXT reviews anymore because we just don't watch it anymore. Like, we're not into the product enough to do that. We do pay-per-view reviews. We've gotten away from pay-per-view previews because a lot of the pay-per-views have been kind of dull and boring. This one wasn't really one of those. It was kind of in the middle. And if I had to give a grade for it, I would say it was like a 6 out of 10. I don't think it was anything special, but I think there were some good moments in it. Maybe a 6.5. But I think it was passable, and I agree with who won the matches. So for that much, I'll give it a passing grade. And I give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I think I'm going to do a Q&A soon. Maybe me and everyone, or just me, because I think a lot of people, like, I always have these on reviews and stuff where people just ask me random questions and I always have to answer them, and I'm trying to answer as many things as possible. So I'm probably going to do like a random Q&A at some point. If you guys would like to see that, let me know in the chat. Also, let me know your grade for the show and what's coming up on the Bottom Line View. Of course, the Puck It Up podcast returns. We're probably going to put that out tomorrow. It was filmed a few days ago, but we're going to put it out tomorrow because I haven't been able to put it up yet on YouTube. What else is coming out? NFL videos, a lot of them coming this week. NHL, we're going to have some stuff with 50 Trent coming out. The expansion draft is happening. NBA, not so much. I think Dylan is going to put out a couple of videos. And I'm thinking GM mode. GM mode will be out in the next couple of days probably. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Attitude Era Review, says Arian. Be back soon. I have so many that I've already watched. I just need to start reviewing them. Chase said he subbed. Thanks, bro, for subbing. Appreciate that. Omar says, thanks for the review. Good job. Thanks, man. WWE Boy says, I say this pay-per-view is around a 7. You should do MLB, says Jeremy. I think Dylan might start doing it. Do some MLB and some soccer. I might do, I'm going to do soccer. I usually do soccer for like Euro and like World Cup, like big events, but I don't usually do it just, if I had another guy that watches it consistently, I could do it, but I can't do like NHL, NFL, and WWE. It's just a lot of stuff to do. This Destroyer says do a Q&A. Chase says my grade for the Money in the Bank was a B. Aaron says Attitude Era shows. Yeah, they're coming out soon. Destroyer says Money in the Bank grade for me, B+ like Daniel Bryan. Will the Jets be 0-16? That will be maybe a question for the Q&A, but I would lean towards maybe. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me on this review for Money in the Bank 2017 and the Bottom Line View. It's Mitch of the Bottom Line View, June 18th, 2017. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. See you tomorrow.